Okay, so the first item on the agenda is something that we still have outstanding from the July meeting, is the July minutes. I know Mike just sent out the August minutes a couple of days ago. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Yep.
And I can have a motion to accept the meetings as,
I looked at the,
okay, so we got people talking over each other, but I did hear a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
second, Lori.
Okay. Yeah, we have a motion and a second, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sally?
Aye, sorry.
Okay, all right, minutes accepted. Basically items 2 through 5 are all wrapped around the same thing, and I want to kind of bounce down the agenda to item number 6, the Open Space and Recreation Action Plan. And we had talked briefly about that in a couple of meetings. I read through all 131 pages of that beastie, and there is a lot in that open space plan that would tie in directly with what our committee does. Mike, you have more information on this than I. What are our next steps as a committee that we would have to do?
Okay, well, congratulations for reading all that, or else condolences. Maybe might be better.
There weren't cliff notes available.
But anyway, so that was dated 2020.
Correct.
Formerly, they had to be updated every 7 years, but the state, it's the Department of Conservation Services, is giving us an opportunity to extend it to 10 years. And all we really need to do, I believe, is to get that extended 3 years, is to update what's called the action plan, which is in section 9 of the report. And when that plan was done back in 2020, the Lakes, Ponds, and Streams Committee didn't exist. So what I've done is I've added a column, and I'll show this document to you in a second. I've added a column for the committee and typed in some suggested activities. And this table it's kind of higher level activities. For the most part, it's not too specific. There are some specific items in it, but mostly it's more higher level, and it's aspirational. I mean, the state or no other organization is going to, come back and say, why the hell didn't you do X, Y, Z, like you said you were going to do? It's aspirational, and it'll. Right now, if we get this extension, it'll be updated, and I guess 2030 will be the next update for real. But anyway, if it's all right, let me share what I've got here. Okay.
There we go.
So, and how's the magnification?
I can see it pretty good. And Lori, since you're on the phone and probably can't see what's going on, it's basically a spreadsheet with a couple of different colored lines and priorities listed in different colors: low, medium, and high.
Yeah. And right now we're focusing on a page that talks about pond and watershed water quality protection. And
is it something to an email that I can open up? Is it a link?
Would you be able to open it up right away?
Yeah, I got my
Okay.
computer right in front of me. Let's get to the meeting on it.
All right. Well, let me just take a minute here for me to email it.
Okay.
the only thing I can caveat is sometimes, for some reason, I'm not really sure of. It takes emails a while to leave my inbox,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna. So if it doesn't show up, immediately, that's why.
Okay.
Oh, I just stopped sharing accidentally. I'll put it back on. All right, so I just sent your document. This is a little bit concerning. There's a document in there that something I sent this morning, which is still sitting there. I've had some Outlook issues, I guess. Now to start, I'll share this again. Yes,
Okay.
oh, Bill's on too. Hi, Bill.
Hello.
Welcome back, sir.
Bill is chair of the Open Space Committee, so you can blame any of this on him if you really want to. We're talking about the action plan of the OSRP, Bill.
Yep.
Okay. Can you see it? Are you?
I can see it.
Yep,
Great.
I can see it.
Great. So anyway, I penciled in some of these things were kind of already existed, but there might have been different responsible parties. These to start, these 5 are, I've kind of transferred over to what was that? To the lakes and ponds. You can just go through, and also I think we need to probably adjust the priority. Right now, all these are low priority, but you might want to change that. So monitor Pratt and Lake Wildwood water quality. I guess one question is, I only did it for this year and next year. I don't know, do we want to continue to monitor future years all the way out for 5 years or 6 years?
Well, since this is only going to be going for 3 years, I would say leave it as is until it's time to review or renew the open space plan until in 2030, if it gets extended. So I would just leave that as that we continue monitoring.
Through the whole period?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll change that then. Okay. And maybe we can talk about priorities in a minute. Then the Pratt and Mill Pond Management Plan. I figure that probably will be done next year sometime.
I agree with that.
26. And then do we want to, is someone follow up with a Lake Wildwood Management Plan? And if we do, I would suggest giving it 3 years. Maybe you have to get money, funding, do the contract award, all that stuff that takes a long time, it seems. So I just added it for 3 years in the end. And I added implement the management plan for Pratt and Mill the last 3 years also. So any thoughts on that? And in terms of priorities too, the orange is higher priority, yellow is blue is medium priority, and green is low priority. So we can change the priority colors. So
since we're already doing the water quality monitoring, I mean, there's no categorization for existing programs, so I would just leave it as a low priority. Maybe the Lake Wildwood Management Plan, maybe we want to bump that up a little bit. Not Pratt and Mill, but the Lake Wildwood Management Plan, the next one down.
well, what about we're working on Lake?
We're working on Pratt and Mill.
So that probably should have a higher priority, I would say. But what do you like Wildwood to do, to have?
Let's move
Medium.
that.
Medium.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I would say a medium priority.
Okay. And then Pratt and Mill, higher priority since we're working on it and doing it.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Okay. Implement Pratt and Mill Pond Management Plan.
I would make that the same priority as the Pratt and Mill Pond Management Plan because we've just bumped that up just a little.
Okay. 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 Any more comments on that?
I'm good with it. Anybody else?
No, good. Sounds good.
Okay. I don't know if stream team surveys. This is one of those things that was already in the plan, but I think it was under Conservation Commission, if I remember right. So I don't know if this committee wants to get involved with any of that or not, or if anyone needs to do it in town. But
Let's let that sleeping dog lie for now.
all right. So for now, I'll just X out that thing. Mill Pond stop log replacement. Bill, do you know if that's going to happen this year, or should we bump it to next year?
Bump it to next year.
Okay. Okay. That stream culvert survey was done this year. DPW and who was the partner there? And Blackstone Collaborative, was that?
Yes.
Well, it was a combination of Blackstone Collaborative and I think it was Tie and Bond.
And Bond. Okay. I don't know if are any culvert replacement projects possibly being planned, Bill, do you know?
Yes, we have one basically we have one set of culvert, whatever whatever it involves. That was planned, was for the Fisk Ave road replacement. And so we're going to end up using that somewhere else in Upton. One of the suggestions, and I thought it was a good one, was we use it for the parking lot at Kiwanis.
Okay. Next year, maybe, or this year?
Oh, no, not this year. It'll be next year. We have to have the whole thing engineered and so on.
Okay. So and this would be Kiwanis? Should I put
Well, there was one other location that the engineering firm suggested. I forget what it was. So it's going to be used for one or the other.
Okay.
But given the fact that the runoff from the parking lot just flows right into Pratt and right at the beach.
Mhm. It'd be a good one to do.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess it might end up becoming a question of how costly each of them are.
Okay.
But when we come before the Conservation Commission for the NOI for the beach sand replacement, you can strongly suggest at that time
Yeah.
that we fix the drainage there.
Yeah, we can ask Mary to highly recommend that.
I don't know if this is a good time to mention it, but I'm hoping at some point we can talk about fixing the dam at Pratt Pond.
Well,
I think it could have an algae problem, and I think it also might give us an opportunity to do drawdowns instead of dicot.
Well, I'm not sure, as far as I know, we could do that. I mean, Prep Pond Dam's in pretty good shape. All in all.
It's a low head dam. It's really not, I don't think there's very much opportunity to draw the lake down much further.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true. That's
Uh,
true. I mean, it's what that dam does, it augments an existing pond that was there before the dam was built.
But I thought it was in need of repair.
Maybe a mill pond, are you
I think,
thinking?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, I think that's it, Lori. I think they're talking about the Mill Pond Dam is the one, right?
Yeah, and that's,
Is that the one that like, like, it's like, if you're at the beach and looking across at the left there?
no, the Mill Pond Dam is located next to Fin and Feather on 140.
Oh, no, I was thinking about the one that's at River Street.
Okay. I will, let's table that for right now, and I'll put that on for the agenda for next month.
Okay, I just didn't know if that one was what we were talking about, like, maybe not, so
Yeah.
that's, okay.
well,
Okay.
in our Pratt Mill Pond Management Plan, you know, if there is anything that should be done at that dam, that'll flag it. And then we've got dam inspection reports we can look at. But it's fairly new. I don't know, maybe it was replaced maybe 15, 20 years ago now. I remember when it was done, but I don't remember exactly how long ago it was. But, so, okay. Next line is Church Street culvert erosion repair. This is kind of my tilting at windmills. You know, I've been trying to get town manager to pay attention to that for like 3-4 years now. There's the culvert basically is aimed right at an eroding bank. And it'd be fairly easy to do some bioengineering to strengthen that bank and stop the erosion. And it's right, if you go, it's kind of right across from the church there. But if you can see it from the church parking lot. You know, if anyone wants to look at it, I can show. I've got some pictures of it too. But I'd still like to, you know, probably should, and it's under the Concom. I would keep it there and try to get some interest in that. Okay, then the other thing here that was maybe that's Lake Wildwood water chestnut removal. Dave, you didn't see any.
I've
Yeah.
been, yeah, I've been there a couple of times since we mentioned it. And Sally, were you with me on Wildwood the last time?
Yeah, I was, and we didn't see any, but I think keeping it on low priority is good, just so that it stays there. But
That stays on the radar.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. So I'll put like
right
Lake
where it is.
Wildwood water chestnut surveillance. How about that?
Yeah,
That's good.
on.
And can we carry that through all the years?
Sure. Okay. And then there were some things under recreation that lakes and ponds were potentially, I thought might have a role in. I guess there's only one that shows up here. Should lakes and ponds be involved with aquatic weed control as well as the DPW?
If you're interested in changing the way we do it, yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's what's coming up as a proposal, right, Dave?
Okay.
Talk
Yep.
about being more involved in that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me change that. Shoot. And then Lake Wetwood boat ramp improvement. I don't know if we want to have anything to do with that, or also, actually, the other thing that might be well, never mind. That would be a Pratt Pond management plan. What might come out of a Pratt Pond report is to upgrade the boat ramp at Pratt Pond.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's kind of crappy. It's barely a boat ramp. But I don't know if you want, the Lake Wildwood boat ramp is already actually called out in the open space plan as something that needs to be done. So that's why it's in here right now.
Yeah, and I think that would go better under the Lake Wildwood management plan for the for the future.
Mhm.
But, I mean, since it's already on the radar of a couple of different spots, then an item of interest for us, yes.
Okay.
But I don't know if we want to get involved in that right away.
Well, it's out a couple of years now. I could extend it out even further to 29. That's as far as I can go out.
No, it's fine as is.
Okay. All right. So then, is there anything else? Anything that's missing that lakes and ponds? KB stormwater. What the hell does that mean?
That was the question I was going to ask.
Actually, that's Kiwanis Beach stormwater.
Oh,
Oh,
all right. So should I delete that? Because it's already.
No. Do we have a Kiwanis Beach stormwater management plan there?
I think it's that potential culvert replacement.
Yeah.
That Bill was talking about.
Okay, so that's one piece of the management plan,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not like it came up in the town hall today. I think in general, stormwater for Kiwanis, or whether Kiwanis Beach or just Pratt Pond, because Pratt Pond stormwater impacts Kiwanis Beach. So
true.
Yeah.
it's a little weird to call it Kiwanis Beach stormwater when it's really Pratt Pond stormwater that impacts the beach. So that's
Yeah, I would
But the
maybe.
location of the potential improvement is Kiwanis Beach.
Well,
I think the Pratt Pond report
yeah, exactly.
will talk about stormwater
good.
a lot, probably.
I believe so also.
And this is a more just.
Okay, that's just a more very specific piece of stormwater.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yep, I got
Yeah.
it.
All right. So, Bill, what year did we put that in? I think I screwed up here. Probably.
26, 27, probably.
Okay.
Could that be a blue then, medium?
Sure.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
That reminds me that I still need to send the people doing the management plan, the current state of the stormwater management for Pratt Pond. So I got the plans from the tip, which mean nothing to me, but yeah, they did install something special at the intersection of School and North Main, which treats the water before it goes into Pratt Pond.
They did?
Yep.
Oh,
And then I guess the other stormwater infrastructure has hoods, which I guess is standard now, but that was explained to me that prevents oil and stuff that rises to the top of the water from flowing into the pond.
oh, that's in the same location?
No, that may be part of the one in by School in North Main. That one has something that takes total suspended solids out of the water.
Oh, wow. We put that on the agenda so you can kind of go through that with us. That's a really important piece for us to know what's being treated.
What's existing already, yeah. Okay, I'm adding that to my list.
I will try.
That's why I say don't do it now, but like maybe next month you can go through that. I'd love to know what's
No,
what's
I
existing.
don't have, I'd be happy to share the plans with you, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's the plan for the whole road, so you got to kind of pick out
Okay.
what the water, stormwater part of it is. And then you got to figure out where the water is flowing from and to. And then you have to understand how those structures work.
Okay.
That's easy stuff.
Dark, and I do think this is really up our alley.
Yeah.
When we're looking at our pond, we want to know what's being caught or what's flowing directly into our ponds and what's being filtered out.
So actually, what the ideal outcome will be, I will send the plans to
Okay.
the firm. What's the name of the firm doing I'm trying to blank. That's doing the plan.
The
TRC.
TRC.
TRC. I will forward the plans to TRC, and
Yeah.
because they're very knowledgeable, they'll be able to read them, and they will be able to tell us what all of those structures do,
Okay.
and what they should also be doing, or what needs to be added.
Great.
I think that's why they want that information from us, from me.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, just quickly back to the action plan. Any other suggested edits or additions or else we can move on to the rest of Dave's agenda.
Good job, Mike.
So I know that Lori's been talking about perhaps modifying our aquatic weed control to minimize, I guess, what gets put into the water. Did that get captured, or are we just figuring that will become part of the management plan?
I think that's also part of the management plan that TRC is working on. So I don't want to say, we should sit on it, but it's something to keep our eye on.
Yep. And actually, that would be part of implement Prent and Mill Pond management plans.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should
Mike,
definitely make sure that, Laura, I'm sorry, that TRC does discuss alternatives for weed control.
Okay.
Got it.
Great.
And
Bill.
that can easily be part of their scope of work. So we just have to make sure we comment if they don't do a good enough job on that.
I have two questions about that. One, Mike, do you have everything you need for what we need to submit to TRC? Remember, there was a time you needed everything by like July or August, and we all had to get you part.
I think we're I owe them some stuff. Bill's going to send them the stormwater stuff they've requested. I'm assuming if we're hurting their schedule, we're going to hear about it. But I owe them some stuff. I don't need anything from anyone else on the committee. I just need to get my own ass in gear and
Okay,
get
and I asked
them some
all
stuff.
I asked Diane for all the 2025 testing results, and she should have got it this morning, so I should probably get something the next day.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
Bill, did you ever remember the people who did the weed control were supposed to send us some kind of report, and we hadn't had it? I was wondering if it ever came.
No, hasn't come yet.
Is there anything we could do to motivate them to send it to us, do you think?
Yeah, I've followed up with them. I haven't had a chance to do that.
Thank you. That'd be great.
I was, like I said, I think I mentioned at a previous meeting that I was hoping to shame them into coming to a meeting.
Okay. I just want to know what different options they offer and if we have choices or anything and if they can, that sort of thing. So,
All good questions to ask.
So I
yeah.
have, I have a question here, and Dave, and I don't know whether we can put it on the agenda, and if this is something that would go on here, if we wanted to consider it. So Dave and I think our first year on the committee there, we went to a workshop, I guess you call it a workshop, on a stormwater tax. Do you remember that, Dave? In
Yes, I do.
Marlboro, I think it was. Westboro does it, Ashland does it, more and more towns are doing it. And the tax has these sort of it's like tiered depending upon how much impervious surface your property has, whether you're a business, school, homeowner. Through the GIS system, they're able to survey and understand the range of, they have it broken into different ranges in the towns, and the residents and the business owners, even schools, pay a stormwater tax depending upon the surface area of non-pervious surface, meaning their driveways and rooftops. This raises money for things like culvert repair, stormwater management, etc. So these types of things that are on this list where we don't know where the funding is going to come from, it would come from that tax revenue. So when Dave and I were there, if you remember, Dave, a couple towns spoke pretty well. They took like a good year, sometimes it's 2 years in order, and some special town meetings for it to approve. Once it was approved, they swear by it. So
I think if I remember right, Hopkinton was in that process. I don't know if they've ever got that kicked off or not, since I don't live in Hopkinton anymore.
yeah, so it's one of those things that stormwater could even fund the Upton Lakes and Ponds Committee. I don't really know. There's a lot to do it. There was town meetings. I'm thinking some of the towns they didn't pass the first time, or there was just a lot of information sessions. So it takes a lot of patience and takes knowledge, but the towns that once they've got it through have found it incredibly resourceful. So I know we're consistently trying to figure out how to budget ourselves, and all these things on the list take money, not all of them, but many of them. So, and some of these things probably would fall into those categories. So I think I'd like to have a bigger conversation about that.
So right now, as you were talking, Sally, I added a line for consideration. Investigate/promote stormwater tax bylaw.
Yeah.
I think I would change the verbiage of that from tax to fee.
It
And
is a tax, though. It was really a tax, because they
Yes.
talked properly about tax. Yeah.
Well, actually, the internet refers to it as a utility fee.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There you go.
And
Yeah,
we all know,
you start saying taxes and people get worked up about it. But fees, a little easier to swallow.
But the bigger your driveway and the bigger your parking lot, the more you pay. So.
Yep. Okay, so back to the open space. Go ahead, Mike.
What years?
Yeah, so it takes a while to go through. So
3
I would
years?
say we start talking now, and we may not propose to go to the town about it till 2026 or 2027, but we need to start coming more knowledgeable about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So I put it through 25 through 27.
Right.
So is that good? So it reads investigate, promote stormwater fee bylaw.
Yeah.
That's what it reads right now. And I could ask the commission, because if they would want to be part of this,
Yeah.
at the next meeting.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Stormwater is management.
And we have at least,
We have a stormwater bylaw. Okay. And you want to give that maybe medium priority or higher priority?
like to keep it moving
Yeah.
on.
Medium or high?
Medium.
Medium. I think I'll move to high when we're really ready to launch.
I agree with that.
Okay, anything else on this table? All righty, I think it's actually pretty much ready to go. I'll talk about the Concom Wednesday night and shoot
Okay,
off the state, and hopefully they will accept it and have another 3 years of freedom
So,
from the open
Do we
space.
do we as a committee want to move on accepting this updated OSRP?
Mm-hmm. I motion to accept it if it needs a motion.
Well, because we did
Motion to
discuss it.
accept
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All in
the
favor?
proposed edits.
Aye.
Aye.
So that was Sally. Who
Aye. Yeah.
was seconded? Who
Uh,
se- who made
thought
it?
I-
Who was
I thought
Okay.
Sally motioned and I thought I heard Lori second.
Yeah.
Lori second? Okay, thanks. Aye. Mike, aye.
Dave, aye. Bill,
Bill, aye.
Okay.
okay. Motion accepted. Okay, as we discussed earlier, pretty much the last items on the agenda all deal around the algae blooms. And we had a draft of a letter out to the Board of Health and the Rec Committee that was kind of short-stopped because we wound up having a meeting with the Board of Health. What day was that? Was that last Thursday?
No,
Yes,
this, wait, it was?
it was Thursday. I just looked
Oh.
it up.
That's what happens when you retire, you lose track of days.
I know.
Anyway, we did not go in there with the intent to question their methodology or try and dictate to them what we were trying to do. My initial intent was to go in there and get some information from the board and offer some testing to them that we do. And my initial impression was they pretty much shut us down early as soon as I asked about their protocols when someone reports a potential blue-green algae bloom. They were very adamant that we follow the directions that the Mass DPH gives us. And thank you, Bill, for what you sent over to us, because my reading of that entire document is their MDPH recommended actions. It's not a diktat that the MDPH says you must close the pond and you must do this and you must follow these steps. So I think there was a little reluctance on their part to look at alternatives and some of the things that we could offer to them in cases of suspected cyanobacteria. And Sally contributed and Lori contributed, and as the meeting progressed, they started to seem, and again, this is my opinion, they started to seem a little more open to working with our committee a little bit more. And so, Sally, I've said my piece, and so Sally, what was your impression in that meeting? If I'm way off base, please let me know.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I would say they don't want to do anything unless the DPH says you can do so. So they were open to listening to us, but not to change any procedures unless it was approved. So for example, if we were to do a rapid test, unless the DPH says you can use that rapid test to keep the beach open, they weren't going to do that. So they really needed, they're only going to go on any suggestions or recommendations from DPH, the Department of Public Health, based on they consider that the law. And they don't want to they don't want any risk taking. So they don't want to go rogue or do anything different that we may want unless it really falls in lines with recommendations or approval from DPH.
However, by the end of the meeting, they said that they were going to ask DPH if we could do rapid testing, and if we use their lab, and if DPH said okay, then they would go along with it. But so I felt that they softened a lot, and that they offered to talk with DPH about our suggestions. I think what we need to do is decide what we would like that rapid test to be and get it to them and get approved. Because what happened was Diane looked up and she goes, well, you know, there's really only one lab that they use. And we said to her, is it the lab in Washington? And she was surprised that we said yes. So we helped her understand that we really knew what we were talking about, and that we use the same labs that they do, and that there is a way to do a quick turnaround time, but it does cost money.
Yes.
I felt like quite a bit of progress was made. You're right. At the beginning, they were locked and done. And by that, but they did soften and they did listen, and we did have a nice conversation. And I think they realized that we're not trying to tell them what to do. We're trying to just help get it earlier testing, because if it is a dangerous algae bloom, you need to know right away.
Yes.
It's not we're trying to show it's not. We're trying to show what if it is. We do need to know right away. And the other thing is, because of what Bill sent, we could see that at no place did it say to close the pond. They said issue a public notice. They did not say anywhere to close the pond in that whole document. And the other thing is, they showed us at least 3 examples of things that look like algae blooms that aren't. So if we look at that picture that was taken that morning and say that's an algae bloom, and never get testing that reinforces that, there's a chance it never was an algae bloom.
Yeah.
And there's a chance.
Or it was possibly
Exactly.
an algae bloom, but did not rise to the levels, the trigger levels that the MDPH has established. Like the test results that came back were 10% of MDPH's trigger levels.
So I think
Right,
we
but
need,
what people,
like you're saying, Lori, if we are giving them a rapid test method that would technically be accepted by the state, or should be accepted by the state, and we give that to the Board of Health, and they give that to the DPH, and they accept that, is really what they want to do. They need to hear pretty clearly exactly what we would do differently, and they want to get some approval from the state, so on how we do it.
and if we can get something to them quickly, because I don't want them to talk to DPH when they don't have an example of what we'd use yet. My hope is that we come up with something that DPH says, yep, that's what we would use. Yep, they can do it. Not something that they wouldn't use and they say, well, we don't know if that's good enough.
And
Yeah, so
that-
that brings up the other piece of it. We said, like, in an ideal situation, we could have a rapid test that even that was approved by them and the state, and that even Maria could do.
which is kind of a good segue into what I wanted to bring up. Doing some deeper research into that, I located a rapid test, and what is the name of the company? Salofa, and they are out of Finland, I believe, and they have a rapid test specifically for blue-green algae that gives some qualitative and quantitative data in the results, and it takes about an hour to get the results from that. So I've reached out to them to find a local distributor of their products, and they reached out to me today asking, how many we're looking for. The kits are only about $25 for a single test, but that's all you get is a single shot at it. They also make a 3-test product, and I believe, Mike, you had found another alternative that did basically the same thing.
Yes, yeah. I think I sent around a link to it.
Yep. So
Um,
we have found a couple of possible sources.
Yeah. So Mike, is that a 3-test thing too, or like I'll have to read back and review. So.
Yeah, take a look at it. It's basically that. Sorry about the barking. It's about it's the method that's an EPA approved method, and so sometimes if you would collect a sample and send it to some of these labs, like Northeast, for example, in Providence, I think they would use this methodology.
Right.
So we could save some time and probably some money by buying the test kits ourselves and doing the testing ourselves, rather than but
Yeah.
I personally need to learn more about it. But
Yeah, that sounds great to be looking into those and more. The one test isn't usually good enough. They want to have like the 3 tests or 2 out of 3 or something in order to feel confident. So, so I definitely feel like we should continue that. So should that be back on our chart there that you made, Mike, and has a high priority, developing a rapid test, or is it in there in some other language in our management plan?
I think that would fall under monitoring the water quality monitoring of Pratt and Mill that we're already doing. So maybe we might want to change that priority. But right now, do we want to invest our committee's funds on buying that, or do we want to try and get some other buy-in from, say, the RecCom or BOH to kind of sponsor that for us, so we're not expending our water quality testing funds on that? Because on one hand, it would provide BOH with some more quantitative information to help them with their decisions, but listening to them in that meeting, my impression was that they would think, yes, it's nice to have, but no, we're going to do what MDPH is telling us to do right now.
But if we have an EPA approved method, and that's really what we want to give them. If we do have an EPA approved method that can be rapid and cost effective, the sooner we give that to the Board of Health, because they can give that exact method to the state and say, oh, and that becomes part of our management plan, that we agree that. I think it's kind of late in the year to think we're going to be able to do it now, especially it's supposed to get into the 40s tonight. So I don't think we're going to have an algae bloom until next summer. But if we can imagine that we're putting this in place for next summer, and they put this method and we give it a trial next summer, that we plan on doing that would be awesome.
And you know what? We might actually provide a model for other towns, because the DPH ought to take what the EPA approves, I would think.
I would hope.
Well, the other thing is there may be other towns that are already doing this.
Yes, so there may be other towns doing it already, but from what our consensus, what our feeling was, is other towns weren't. But I mean, if they are, then that's great.
How would we find out?
I think we're in the place of this situation.
We could, when we're developing this protocol, one of the things we could do is talk to, I think her name's Rachel, who's the State Department of Public Health specialist, and kind of pick her brain a little bit on this as we're developing it.
Yeah, let's,
Could be who Diane trusts. So that would be a smart idea, I think.
mhm.
That's a great idea.
Very good idea. And as far as finding out if some surrounding towns are doing that, I have reached out to the Lake Maspinock Preservation Association, since that's a big water that abuts our town, North Pond. And I do have the point of contact. I just have not returned, the introductions yet. And, there's Grafton. I know that they have the beach on Silver Lake, so I will reach out to them as well. See if they're doing what sort of testing they're doing, if they're doing anything beyond the E. coli testing.
Yeah, have any towns around us had algae blooms? There must be a list somewhere of towns that have had them this summer.
Yeah, that's
Well,
on the state.
I think,
website.
Grafton shut down early.
Grafton,
Their
yeah, I
blooms.
was
They
gonna
were
say
supposed to
Grafton.
take August, an extra week or something like that, but they shut down a little bit early because of the bloom. Didn't reopen.
Yeah, well, DPH has a site which shows all of the water bodies that have been closed.
Yeah, so that maybe that's a good way to do it, is to go through there, look at the ones that are closed and just send out an email, see if you can find out their method. Calling closure.
I think it's probably easiest just to talk to the woman at DPH,
Yeah,
because they're going to have some insight. I mean, they essentially have to agree that
mhm.
whatever any town is doing is done well. And so if somebody's found a better way, perhaps more expensive, but faster, I
Yeah.
would imagine they know about it.
Yeah.
I'm worried that you'll shut us down before we ever get going and we have something good to submit.
Well, that's why we just kind of want to get all our information. The more knowledge and information we have, the harder it gets to shut us down, right? So we have time.
Yeah.
We have time on our hand because it's really not going to happen until next summer.
Next June, July, who knows when.
So Lori, who's going to shut us down?
I wouldn't want Rachel at the state to shut us down and say, oh, this is the procedure, we're not listening. I want to make sure that we have something to offer that they look at and say, yeah, this is really good. EPA approves it. So I want to make sure that by the time we go to her, we have what we'd like to do. And it's a good plan.
But I just question whether it's not incorrect to just notify them and ask them if the other towns, if there's a variety of procedures that other towns follow.
Yeah, I agree with Sally on that.
And then just to find out, saying we're researching and developing and want to be able to propose rapid or more quicker or another method. So we're just trying to understand what's out there right now and being done.
And the
rapid
response
test.
will also be, we've evaluated what you're proposing and we don't think it's good enough.
Right.
I think the thing that they hear the most is the idea that the reason for a rapid test is in case it is a toxic algae bloom, we really do need to know right away, because otherwise people won't even get out of the water. And if you know it is, then they will. And if it says that it's not, well, then they have a choice. I mean, we may say shut it down and people may still go in anyway and we can't stop that. But if it is a toxic algae bloom, you sure need to know as quickly as you can.
Right.
And then I was reading through some things, and this is what I understood. First of all, not all blue-green algae produce toxins. And the
Right.
other thing is there are literally hundreds of different toxins.
Mhm.
So it's hard to test for all of them.
Right.
So you may find there's blue-green algae, but no toxins, or you may find, well, it'd be hard to discern, I think, whether or not, I mean, if you had to look at all 100 toxins, it's just,
Be careful about a rapid test. and it has to be qualitative and quantitative? Because those tests are going to tell us there's blue-green algae there, but most of them are not harmful.
No, the tests that I think we're thinking about will give you an estimate of the presence and then the quantity of certain
Right.
cyanotoxins. Not all of them, but there's a couple that I think probably would be estimated.
Yeah.
And right now the state
Like
has
quantitative.
right now the state has quantitative criteria only for one cyanotoxin, and I think Rachel sent us an email earlier this summer saying they're thinking about maybe adding a second cyanotoxin to their criteria next year. I know there's a lot of different cyanotoxins, and some of them are more for marine algae. You won't really see them in freshwater too much, and some are present, but low concentrations, and some probably there isn't good toxicological information. So you detect it. What does that mean? So, but I would at least try to measure the ones that currently the state has on their radar.
Absolutely.
And it looks like there might be 2 next year. There's currently 1, but.
And I would add on to that, if we do, get the okay to start doing the rapid testing and it shows us yes, there are these cyanotoxins, the oscillatoria and the anabina that start waving red flags, and it shows a level, that maybe not a trigger level, but a concern, we can always follow up with our normal testing that we send out to Jim Sweet out at Aquatic Analysts, where we get the specific species and the actual quantity per, micrograms per liter that we've been getting from Aquatic Analysts. So we've got a couple of different ways of confirming, what the BOH and MDPH is looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I had to just scope this out, I was thinking about this a little bit, it would go something like this. Let's say that Maria sees a bloom by the beach. If at all possible, someone should scoop up a sample of the bloom. And then that could be sent off to determine what species of algae are involved, if it really is blue-green or not. At the same time, you could take a sample of the beach water and analyze it using these rapid tests for cyanotoxins. And if it was negative, and then you maybe come back a week later, test it again, and then you could open your beach. Go something like that.
Well, you might
and we could
clarify whether you would be closing the beach in the meantime.
Yeah, well, that's what I think well, again, this is where we have to talk to DPH, but right now, if you see a bloom, that's likely a cyanobacteria bloom, they're recommending closure.
Mhm.
Right, so that's the part that we're a little bit stuck at. So we want to be able to at least confirm that it is an algae bloom and not like something else that just sort of got stuck in the current and drifted in there.
Yeah.
Or something else and being misinterpreted and causing alarm. So if we can at least eliminate that right off the bat.
Yeah, we could even, just tying this out a little bit, we could even give Maria, a kit, one of the sampling vials from Jim Sweet, and say, Maria, if you see a bloom, put on some gloves, take a sample, and let us know that you got the sample, and we'll take it from there.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking too.
Because like the one that just happened in a month or so ago, Maria took some pictures of it in the morning. I got out there kind of like mid-afternoon, and it was already gone. There was nothing to sample. The wave action probably shifted maybe a little bit and just broke it up.
And that ties in with the breakup of the mat that I observed last month, because when I went out there on the 19th, it was just absolutely everywhere and large quantities of it. 4 days later, it's really gone. Does the sunlight, does it tend to, break up the algae and kill it that quickly? I mean, it's, sunlight's the best disinfectant, but is it destroying the algae the closer it gets to the surface, where it's not forming like someone poured paint into the water?
But Dave, that month later, when you saw it on the 19th of August, it was the 15th that the algae bloom happened, or the suspected algae bloom. And Mike, I don't know, did you see the document that Bill sent out? It has some pictures of things that look like algae blooms that aren't. So that's what we got to get confirmation on it. We got to do some kind of testing. That was a very good document. It was very.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's what we're discussing. We don't have to come to a decision tonight, but we do have some options that are available to us, and it's a matter of trying to put it together into something that's acceptable to Mass DPH and then the Upton BOH, so that we can try and maneuver around we saw algae, we're closing the pond. That's what we're trying to prevent. So, we don't have to make a decision on that tonight.
Right. But this has been a good discussion, I think. And It was a very good meeting. I was really glad we had that meeting with them.
Okay, we are actually a little over our time right now, folks. The last thing I've got is an update on the intern from Nipmuc. I am meeting with Tara Bennett and Killian Scott tomorrow morning. I'm going to try and work out some expectations, and I forwarded everybody the Corey form, that if anybody is interested in working with the intern, will have to fill out and submit before we can do that. And I need to follow up with the acting town manager, see if there's any other hoops and wickets that the committee needs to satisfy in order to actually, work with the intern. So, taking baby steps. We've got we've expanded what this committee has been doing by quite a bit this year, and it's been some interesting stuff from my perspective. And thank everybody for your participation and work.
What time is your meeting tomorrow, Dave?
11:15 at the school.
Okay.
You want to stop on by the DPW right after that?
I can do that.
Because that's where the interim town manager will be.
Okay, Dennis will be in tomorrow.
Yeah, you can, if he's not there. I mean, I clearly work right next door to him, so.
Okay. All
Are
right,
we
so
thinking that we had talked about having an intern and they could have one of the positions because we had some openings on this board and that sort of thing. So do we as a group feeling like we would like to have this intern, and is that person Killian the intern?
yes, Killian will be the intern. And I mean, we have open meetings, so if he wanted to attend as part of his internship, I don't think we could tell him no. But that's a very good question.
It would be great if he attended. If it's part of the internship, we certainly would want him to do that.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd actually make that a requirement of the internship personally, but.
Me too. I agree with that. And it looked to me like they had pretty stringent requirements, so we have to make sure that we're able to fulfill them for him.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, I would like him to be a voting member of the committee, but if he's not a voter, that may not be possible.
He lives in, I don't think he's a town resident, but I don't think there's a residency requirement. and I'm not sure if he's 18, so I'll have to suss that out as well.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. We could probably get around that if we had to. That is just, I'm smarting because we had a very good candidate for the mosquito and tick board, who is Canadian citizen, but he Upton resident. And two of the members of the select board voted not to approve her appointment because she
Wow.
wasn't a registered voter.
It's all about the votes. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So great, we're gonna have an intern, that's wonderful. And also, it sounds like you're moving ahead on working with the environmental science class.
Yes. Yep.
I'm happy to help those days when the students come.
So, yeah, Dave, let me know if you want me there tomorrow, or you've got this meeting, or if you want
If
an
you-
extra.
You have a lot more experience in the education field than I do. I went through the education system, but that was about the extent of my experience with it. So if you would like to join us at the meeting tomorrow, Sally, I'd be more than happy to have you attend.
Because
I'm-
I have taught this in high school level, so
I-
I've been in that teacher's field, so.
And I'm sure you speak more of Tara's language than I do as well. So
I
yeah,
can support you on that. Then.
if
All right.
you would like to attend, I'd be more than happy to have you.
All right. And you're meeting at Nipmuc at 11:15
Yes, ma'am.
with Tara. Okay. All right. I'll do my best to be there then. I'll let you know.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else that we want to discuss for tonight? And hearing none, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
And unanimous action. So at
Great meeting.
2013. Good night, all.
Good night.
Night.
Hey,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.